Hello YouTube, Mike here, also known as Toolmaker 1968 ER. 1968 was the year I finished my tool and die apprenticeship. I was actually in a vocational machine shop in high school, and my last two years, my I guess junior and senior years, I spent 3 hours a day in machine shop. I actually started when I was 15 years old at this stuff. So what we're looking at here today is my Clausen Colchester 13 by 40, and what I need is a carriage stop. And I'm looking underneath here, and if you see this device right here, this is sits right underneath the carriage apron, and it is a stop, but I don't plan on using it because first of all it's just gets drooled on with oil and fine chips and shavings and so forth, and it's not very pleasant to adjust. I've never used it and probably never will. What I really want is a good old reliable old school carriage stop that mounts up here and is adjustable on the ways of the front of the ways of the lathe. And so let me show you a little bit how this works. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's a handle back here, and as I rotate the handle, it indexes the 4 different stops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a little control on the front of the apron here that when I pull it out and swing it down, it'll contact these stops. And basically the way it looks to me is just a solid stop. It doesn't stop the feed or anything like that. So you'd still have to stop the feed short and then bring it to your final position by hand. And we'll get under here. I'll give you a little better look at this thing. So this might give you a little better idea. This swings up out of the way. This little knob operates it. So when you want to use your stop, push it in and whoops, and swing it down. Then you run up against the solid stop. Okay. So to bypass it, pull it out, swing it up, and everything clears by. So you can see how dirty that is, and that's why I don't plan on using this now. With the 4 positions, it might be something someone might want to use for a short run production type situation, but anyway, I want the good old-fashioned old school carriage stop that mounts on the ways, and that's where we're headed. Here's a better look at this handle that indexes this stop on this Clausen Colchester, and you can see it kind of has a detent. It kind of drops into a detent when you get to the right position. Yeah, actually there's 6 positions, which makes sense. That is a hexagonal bar in there. So it obviously is a factory option. I've been around a lot of lathes, big ones and fairly small ones. I've never seen a setup like that. If you have, I'd be interested to hear in your comments if you've seen something similar to this. But it's kind of a clever idea. It's just too bad it's positioned down there, you know, where it collects all the dirt and mung that drops down there. But I don't know where else they could have put it. So anyway, that's what that looks like. All right. Watched a bunch of YouTube videos on carriage stops, and boy, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of them out there. And 2 really good ones are one by Chris 357, and boy, he makes some really neat projects, and he made one that was really slick. And also Mr. Pete, your online shop teacher, he had one, and both Chris and Mr. Pete, they had built-in micrometer dials that they had made, and they were really sophisticated and they're really nice. And also there's many others out there too that are really good ones. So you know, it gave me a bunch of ideas. That's always good. I think mine's going to be a lot simpler than that. So I thought about it, you know, what do I really need for a carriage stop, you know. So anyway, you know, I want a couple of flat surfaces on that carriage stop so that, you know, I can put my dial indicator with a magnetic base and kind of use that as an early warning device when I'm getting close to the stop. And also, you know, I really don't think I need a micrometer stop. I've got, of course, you know, I'll have my indicator on there, but on the other side of my carriage I have a travadial, which I use a lot. Boy, I'll tell you, if you haven't got a travadial on your lathe, you don't know what you're missing, unless you got readouts, and that's really the ultimate. I had readouts on this, but they didn't work, so I took them off. Anyway, also I want it to be easy to take on and off, so I think that means, you know, I just want to be able to mount it on with one screw. Now I have the problem that a lot of people have. If you look down here, the rack that, you know, the rapid traverse or the manual traverse on my carriage runs up and down on, comes out, it sticks out kind of far, and there's really not much ledge here to get a hold of. And I think I've heard some of the other guys that have made carriage stops say the same thing, that they were worried. They're kind of clamping off center, and they were kind of worried about whether when you clamped it, it would tend to cock it. Not that that probably would make a difference as long as it's secure. But, you know, so I tried to think about how I could get around that. So I've got a design that entails a lot of angles on it, but you'll see what I came up with there. We'll see how that works. If it doesn't work, I'll pitch it. But that's the direction we're heading, and stay tuned, and you can see where I'm going. I'm getting ready to square the block up for my carriage stop, and I picked up the steel today at good old Storm Steel in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it's my favorite steel place. And they'll sell you, you know, a half a pound of steel, or they'll sell you 2 tons of steel. They don't care, and they're really easy to deal with. They're not paying me to say that either. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that steel and we'll get started. Oh yeah, by the way, while I was picking up that steel for my carriage stop, I picked up some steel that I could start working on the pallet forks for my front end loader on my tractor. So it's not really machining, but it's kind of a fab job. So kind of looking forward to that, boy. I'll tell you what, it's going to make unloading trucks a lot easier. So, okay, that's all for now.